in some cases, the hood may fly open while you're driving.
That would be bad.
That'd be very, very bad. So this is an important one to pay attention to. If you have a Honda, you need to pay attention to this.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you some of the parameters.
And surely you're going to get a notice in the mail about that decertification, correct?
This is about the only notice you'll probably get.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Airing of Grievances. I'm Eric Reamer. This is Robert Grieve, and we are so thankful that you are here today. If this is your first time being here, we especially welcome you. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us for ours, and we encourage you to go ahead and click the thumbs up button to let YouTube know that you appreciate the content that we have here. That helps them lift the content to more people. If you're an old timer, one of our regulars, good morning to you, and thank you so very much. We're so grateful to have you here. If you haven't yet subscribed, don't forget to click the subscribe button, click the notify bell. That helps, again, YouTube know that this is content that's relevant to you. And with all of that being said, Rob, happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you. Happy Saturday to you.
Nice. What's on your mind today?
Well, like we spoke last week, I was asked to be part of the consumer counsel on the Colorado Department of Insurance.
Yes.
Which is exciting.
It's got quite a bit of buzz and activity around your professional site on LinkedIn and so on.
So our first meeting was supposed to be this week.
Oh.
This past week.
I see.
But it was postponed due to the fires that we had here in Colorado, and the intense amount of phone calls and so on and so forth that was happening at the Department of Insurance.
Reasonably so.
And I got to tell you, they're doing a yeoman's job trying to help people and get through this situation. They care deeply.
Yeah. It's unprecedented in its level of extremity.
They had one virtual town hall meeting this week, which I attended in the evening. They had over 1,000 people register for that. Wow. And the governor was on there. He put his well wishes and so on and so forth in there. So they are doing everything they can to help people, and I'm very proud of the effort they're putting out there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, thank you for that update.
Just wanted to, and we'll get back to that later. I think the beginning of February.
Okay.
We'll reschedule that.
Sounds good. Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah.
We appreciate you sitting on the Consumer Insurance Council for the state of Colorado is really kind of cool for us because
cool for all of us.
You're representing us, the consumer. So appreciate that.
It's exciting, and people should know that. Don't be afraid to call them. They're nice people and they want to help.
Yeah.
So. So what else do we have? We have another article from Repair Driven News.
Yep. I'll put the link to that right here.
Yep. That really caught my attention for a bunch of different reasons. This one written by Laura Lowry.
Okay.
And she did a great job on this article. Mm-hmm. It was a great read and tons of great information and links. But it's about a recall that's coming out, or that is probably out. But some of the dates, it's manufacturers have different ways of notifying people, and sometimes they do it in waves depending on the availability of parts to do the recall and so on and so forth. So
I gotcha.
if you haven't been notified, expect to be notified.
If you own what kind of a car?
Okay, let's go down that road. Honda is recalling 725,000 vehicles.
That's a lot of cars.
That is a lot of cars. And it's for a potential problem with the hood, in which in some cases the hood may fly open while you're driving.
That would be bad.
That'd be very, very bad. So this is an important one to pay attention to. If you have a Honda,
Yeah.
you need to pay attention to this.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you some of the parameters. It affects 2019 passports, only 2019. 2016 through 2019 Honda Pilots, and 2017 through 2020 Honda Ridgeline.
All right. So if you have one of those three vehicle models, the recall applies to you in the years that are
Yep.
that you just described. All right, and it has to do with the hood, a potential problem with it possibly.
Opening while you're driving.
It's terrifying.
It is. And you know what? Let me just read what information I have here. And
Yeah.
this is not part of the article. This is separate.
Okay.
Due to an improper hood to grill gap.
Grill being where the car.
Yeah, so
the
that's
grill of the
space
car, the front
between the
car,
grill and the hood.
and the hood comes here.
Yeah. Basically, what they're saying is if you're doing a lot of highway travel, it may create a little bit of a vibration on the hood,
Okay.
which could loosen up the spot welds of the striker that
That's the
holds
little
the hood
hook
down.
thing that holds it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with you.
In some cases, if it's deteriorated enough, they're going to just replace the hood.
Okay.
So this is a really important one. You really need to pay attention to this because you do not want your hood flying up.
Ever.
It will create an accident, obviously.
Sure.
So let's see what else. So it's 75 or 700,000 vehicles, and Honda will be notifying you. Okay. Now we have CAPA, which is a certification organization of aftermarket parts. So parts that are not made by, in this case, Honda.
Right.
Okay, they're made by, well, actually, I can tell you who they're made by: Gordon Auto Body Parts or Tong Yang.
Okay. Japanese company.
Yep, they make these hoods also.
Okay.
Naturally, they're not a Honda part. They're a copycat.
By definition, they cannot be identical because Honda owns the patent
Right.
for the part, so they will be different to some degree.
Yes. So, they've also recalled the hoods. Well, not recalled. No, they haven't really. They're Kappa is making it. You know what? They don't really know, according to this article. It's worth a read.
I'll put the link to that article in the description box below. You have piqued my interest. Are they recalling? No, they can't recall because they don't recall.
Right.
Kappa doesn't recall. They certify or
Yeah, and
decertify.
correct. And Kappa is not the manufacturer of the part, so they can't recall. All they can do is say, we once certified it, and now we are not certifying it.
I see.
We are uncertifying it or decertifying it. And
surely you're going to get a notice in the mail about that decertification, correct?
this is about the only notice you'll probably get.
Share this video with anyone you know that has a Honda Pilot, a Honda Ridgeline, or a Honda
Passport. And here's the thing. You could land up going to the dealer not knowing that you have an aftermarket hood on your car. Maybe you bought the car used and it was in an accident before you bought it and they replaced it with an aftermarket hood and you don't even know that. But here's the thing. If you take it to the dealer and they put this new bracket on,
Yeah.
I'm unsettled thinking that should be done to a part that wasn't manufactured by Honda, because we don't know if this fix works well with the way that aftermarket hood is designed.
Right.
So I would be, very weary about that.
Yeah.
And if you think if your vehicle's been in an accident, you should go through your paperwork that you were given when you picked it up, see if there's an aftermarket hood on it, and call the body shop. They're the ones that need to rectify that, or call your insurance company and say, hey, I have this car and the hood's been decertified. I need a new hood on the car.
Right.
So while Honda has a fix for it because they got engineers and all the rest of this, the aftermarket, they don't have that. So I would insist on a new hood if you were sold a hood that was certified.
Yeah.
And now it's decertified. I'd want a new hood.
Right.
So now, even in the case of Honda, if they replace the hood, I wonder if they're going to blend the adjacent panels, the fenders. And are you going to have a hood that is new and shiny and not matching the fenders? That wouldn't be good either. So there's a lot of things for you to consider here.
Yeah, and even that, when you said that my mind went down this trail of, don't all hoods come one color?
No, they have to be painted. And by the way, dealerships don't paint hoods. They're going to send you to a body shop.
Yeah.
Or some dealers have body shops. Like if you're in this area, Cooney Honda has its own body shop.
Right.
But they need to be, from what I understand, they need to be a Honda Pro First certified body shop. So certified by Honda.
Yeah.
In order to do these repairs.
That's a big can of worms there, Rob.
Yeah. So the dealership's going to be doing they're doing inspection, and then if the inspection is good, then they'll put this bracket on there, and there's so much to consider with this.
Yeah.
But most of all, I want you to, if your vehicle was in an accident and they put an aftermarket hood on it, you need to get that hood replaced. And you need to either call the insurance company or the body shop or both.
Yeah.
If you need help, call me.
I'll put the phone number right here so that you can see. And when Rob says call me, he means it.
Yeah. Call me. If you have the paperwork, send it over to me. I'll translate it for you and tell you, what the paperwork says.
Right.
Now, what somebody does compared to what the paperwork says may not always be the case.
Sure.
We've seen that many a times on some of the post-repair
Where
inspections.
some of the paperwork says that they did something, and you come to find out that something completely different was done.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's there's 5,000 of these hoods out there in the aftermarket that potentially are on people's cars.
All right.
And again, this is a very serious thing. If anybody's, it's not a normal thing that you would experience a hood flying up.
No.
And keep in mind, you still do have your safety, the safety check.
Sure.
So that should, keep you. But if that thing pops, it's going to be scary no matter what.
Absolutely.
And there's no good time for that to happen.
Well, you couldn't stated that with any more delicacy. That's the truth. All right. So Honda recall, 725,000 vehicles, and we gave you the models and the years for that. Again, I'll have that in the description box below as well. And also a CAPA decertification of the aftermarket equivalent hoods. And I say equivalent with air quotes.
Yeah.
But those hoods that would be replacing in the aftermarket, you really do need to take a look at this. Rob, thank you for bringing this to our attention.
So here's just one other thing I want to say is that, again, while the manufacturer has to send out a recall on these things and notify, make all sorts of different hoops to jump through to notify people that this is a potential problem, we need to get you in here and take a look at it. The aftermarket, not so much.
Right.
The aftermarket, not so much. And there's, you look at Colorado's laws, and we have a video on talking about Colorado laws pertaining to aftermarket parts. There's nothing in there that says that if a part becomes decertified, that they need to notify you.
No.
And that's a problem for you. And when you're getting aftermarket parts put on your car, the only one that's saving any money or it's doing any good for is the insurance company.
Yeah, and we'll kind of wrap this thing up by telling you here at Nylund's Collision Center, we do not put aftermarket parts on.
No.
We will not.
No, somebody asked me, how am I going to let people know? I said, well, I don't have to. We haven't bought any aftermarket parts in well over a decade.
Yeah.
So that's not a thing here. They're not good for your vehicle. They're not good for the value of your vehicle. We will not use them here. And there's a few shops out there that won't use them, but they're hard to find.
Yep.
But that should be one of your interviewing questions when you're deciding where to take your vehicle.
Do you use aftermarket parts?
Yeah. And the other thing is, if you take it to many of these places, they're not going to tell you they're putting aftermarket parts on because they think that you already know that because of your policy.
Right.
You need to ask these questions. You need to look at your paperwork and understand because, you're supposed to be told.
Yeah. We also made another video about how to read your estimate, and you will find out what the code is for aftermarket parts in that video. I'll put a link to it right up here.
Yeah, so you may want to start making some phone calls, whether it's to the dealer, whether it's to the body shop that may have fixed your car, or to the insurance company that may have paid for the repairs to fix your car, because it may not be your insurance company that paid for the repairs.
Right.
But somebody's responsible to make you whole, and if you have questions, I'm happy to lend a hand.
All right. Rob, thanks again, man. We really appreciate you. Cheers to you.
To you.
Happy Saturday.
To you. God bless.